Your Excellency, President Cyril Ramaphosa, who are on the entourage of the South African president. There's just one colleague of Nigeria. Here we have
Your Excellency, President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa, honorable ministers, ambassadors and high commissioners, ladies and gentlemen of the press, or ladies and gentlemen of the press. We have now come to the end of a very successful state visit and the 10th session of the Nigeria-South Africa Binational Commission. Despite the scare generated by the new coronavirus variant, we have been able to hold successful meetings while observing strict coronavirus protocols through fraternal cooperation and understanding. I sincerely wish to thank my brother and colleague, President Cyril Ramaphosa, for honoring my invitation. I equally wish to thank members of the South African delegation and the experts who worked tirelessly during the senior officials meeting. Today has witnessed the signing of new memoranda of understanding between Nigeria and South Africa in diverse areas, including youth development, women and child empowerment, and political consultations, critical areas that will lead to increased people-to-people contact. Existing memorandums of understanding signed during previous binational commission meetings were also reviewed. These include memorandums of understanding on military cooperation, power, cooperation in the field of geology, mining, and mineral processing, oil and gas, and several others. Today, we also jointly launched the Nigeria-South Africa Youth Dialogue, another veritable tool for interaction among our youth with the aim of creating shared values and aspirations. Many of our youth from Nigeria and South Africa joined us virtually during the launch. I sincerely thank my brother, President Cyril Ramaphosa, for initiating this youth dialogue as continuous interaction between the youth of our two countries will further break down barriers and lead to better understanding among our people. Today's inauguration of the Joint Ministerial Advisory Council on Industry, Trade and Investment will enable the private sector of the two largest economies in Africa to further promote economic cooperation and development. We appreciate that we need to do much more to achieve further integration of our two economies and take full advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Once again, I wish to thank my brother, President, and members of the South African delegation for their visit and wonderful friendship, cooperation, and solidarity. I wish you all safe journey back. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, President.
Our speeches, especially the ones by the President of South Africa, are detailed enough and answered all the questions. The cooperation arrived at during these long meetings by the ministers and officials. I think when the press release comes out, you will find all your answers more than adequately answered. Because the officials sat for hours on end, on all important items. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you.
Members of the media, of course. Allow me to express my gratitude once again for receiving us so warmly here in Abuja. I think it is important that I emphasize this in the light of the discovery by South African scientists of the Omicron variant of the coronavirus and the subsequent imposition of extremely harsh and unfair travel restrictions on flights from and to South Africa, as well as on a number of other African countries. President Buhari, the solidarity expressed by yourself and the government of Nigeria sends the strongest message. It says that as African countries, we are standing united against the imposition of arbitrary and discriminatory restrictions that are not only unscientific, but counterproductive in the long run. Indeed, the leaders of Côte d'Ivoire, where we are traveling to later today, as well as the leaders of Ghana and Senegal, have also expressed their dissatisfaction with the travel ban against South Africa and our sister countries in Southern Africa. This is a global pandemic, and overcoming it requires that we collaborate and work together as a collective. The resulting damage to this travel ban to the economies of the countries affected will be considerable and long-lasting. So I want to use this opportunity to once again call on the countries who have imposed this ban to reverse their decisions, whether they are in the northern, more developed economies or in other parts of our continent and elsewhere. Of the many areas of cooperation explored during this BNC was Nigeria and South Africa working to build resilience in our respective health systems and around our shared health priorities. A draft memorandum of understanding in this regard is being processed. As African countries, we affirmed that healthcare cooperation is a critical area of focus in the current climate, as well as in furtherance of the AU's Agenda 2063. Members of the media from Nigeria and South Africa, I want to thank you for being here because you play an invaluable role in communicating the work that is being done in our respective countries and in faithfully imparting the message that we are committed to doing, particularly in strengthening the ties between our two countries. We've just concluded a successful 10th session of the Nigeria-South Africa Binational Commission. President Buhari and I witnessed the signing of a number of agreements and memoranda of understanding to advance trade and investment, development, economic upliftment, as well as youth empowerment, amongst others. These new agreements between our two countries broaden the scope of our cooperation on issues of common interest and mutual benefit, and we will continue to work together to ensure their implementation. At present, our countries have signed approximately 32 agreements, and today we have added other agreements. There are an MOU in the field of youth development, an agreement on audiovisual cooperation, and a program of cooperation on arts and culture. The youth development agreement will be key to improving people-to-people relations and to capacitating the young people of our two countries in acceding to higher levels of development as well as progress. South Africa and Nigeria both have rich cultural, vibrant arts and flourishing sports sectors, all of which will be greatly enriched through greater collaboration through the program of cooperation between the two countries. The agreement on audiovisual cooperation will be a boost to the film production industries in our respective countries, and we as South Africa stand to benefit greatly from cooperation with the world-famous Nollywood that has really emerged very strongly here in Nigeria. I also am pleased that additional MOUs on political consultation and on an early warning mechanism will be signed as soon as possible, as soon as all the legal processes have been concluded. During this BNC, we also launched two groundbreaking initiatives. The first is a joint ministerial advisory council on trade, investment, and industry. This council will promote economic relations between our two countries that are the very large economies on our continent, Nigeria being the largest economy, and they will also serve as a platform through which obstacles to doing business can be overcome. The Trade and Finance and Industry Working Group of the BNC has recommended that we look into the constraints that affect businesses or business people in both our countries. It is furthermore a means for our ministers to interact and share ideas about new opportunities in trade and investment between our two countries. We want to improve the balance of trade between our two countries, and we are extremely encouraged by the interest expressed by a number of Nigerian businesses in accessing the South African market. We are particularly encouraged by the interest from Nigerian banks, and it has been recommended they work with the South African regulatory authorities to facilitate their access into the financial sector in South Africa. The second initiative that we have launched is the inauguration of the South Africa-Nigeria Youth Dialogue. The purpose of this dialogue is to build the capacity of both South African and Nigerian young people across a range of sectors, from peace building to conflict resolution, from intercultural learning to civic education, from human rights education and democracy to promoting tolerance and diversity. We will be working towards regularizing this dialogue such that it becomes an integral part of the binational commission between our two countries in future engagements. As South Africa, we will be looking at how we can establish a youth exchange leadership development program, rallying around the legacy of President Nelson Mandela, who was, as we all know, a champion of youth development. It will include important components such as civic education, value system inculcation, social cohesion, and promoting a culture of service. More details of this will be provided in due course. In conclusion, let me thank all those who have participated in making this binational successful, especially the ministers from our two respective countries. I wish to thank you once again, my brother, President Buhari, for the fruitful engagements and measurable outcomes we have agreed to today. May the good work continue, and may our relations as Nigeria and South Africa continue to grow from strength to strength. And I really would like to thank you for welcoming us here. And as you heard earlier, I have also extended a visit to President Buhari to visit South Africa on a state visit at his earliest convenience. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
To find some fault in the answer that President Buhari has given, you will not find it. President has answered the questions even more in detail than I would have. As I said, our ministers have devoted a great deal of time and effort in addressing the issues, not only that are challenges, but issues where there's a demonstrable level of progress. And all I can say is that the relationship between Nigeria and South Africa continues to grow by leaps and bounds, and it becomes warmer and warmer. And we are two countries that are working very closely on a number of issues, and we will continue to do so. We've laid a very solid foundation based on the historic relationship that exists between our two countries, and it cannot but grow to higher and higher levels. So I think we are well armed that whatever challenge may come in the future, we will be able to have a solid foundation and ground to address those challenges, and we've put in place really good mechanisms to address those challenges. So thank you very much.
Thank you.